Welcome to episode 3 of Game On. We had an action-packed weekend of sport with the Colac Tigers, the biggest winners of the weekend, 264-point win over North Shore. You obviously played in that one, mate. How did that one play out?
Yeah, it was a bizarre contest, Lou. We could go through the list of goal kickers for the day, but yeah, we'd be here.
Yeah, 15 individual goal kickers.
15 individuals for the day. Yeah, Luke Hillman and Joffy Simpkin leading the way with 6 apiece, and the message pre-game from Army was no quarter time, I told you so, which pretty much meant don't be complacent, don't get ahead of yourselves. Didn't want us to come in at quarter time on the back foot and have to rev us up. And I think we did that pretty well. You know, it was a convincing first quarter. They got one early, but from there we were just a little bit too good in the end. Darcy Lang was really impressive for me. You know, for an ex-AFL guy in a game like that, it would have been very easy to just go through the motions, but he would have had half a dozen chase down tackles from behind, which led to turnover, and you know, we all know his excellence and what he can do, but you know, that kind of endeavour to make things like that happen was really impressive.
I was going to say Cooper Forbes as well. Yeah, you know, obviously him pretty well. He made his debut. Tell us about him.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's a fantastic story. He came across last year from Torquay, and believe it or not, he couldn't get a game at the reserves at Torquay, so played the first 8 and then was left out and made the call to switch and put together a really good back end of last year in the reserve side, and then just went to work over the pre-season. He was fantastic, led from the front with all of our running. Was far and away the best runner at the club. And was probably unlucky to miss out in round 0 against Bell Park, and he would have been a little bit dirty not to get a game there. But put his head down and went to work and got his reward this week, and was fantastic. Had 2 goals for the day and would have had his 20 as well. So I was really impressed with him.
In CDFNL football, Birregurra had the statement win and the biggest talking point, I guess, of the weekend, guys, in a 43-point win against South Colac. Really pushing their case to be a finals contender early in the season. And the Saints piled on 8 goals to 1 in the second half against the Roos under lights for the first time. Yeah,
Joel Hayward, he was the best for the Saints after they moved him into the ruck he's a bit of a utility for the Saints, so he can play anywhere, but his move into the ruck was one that kind of helped their second half charge. And James Bosley and Matthew Sinoransky, they were also named in the best players. They're another 2 new players that have come from Wycliffe Lake Bollock with Dave McNeil, so they've looked like really handy off-season additions for them.
Yeah, and Dave said after the game that the Saints weren't trying to get too far ahead of themselves. Obviously pleased with the way they've started the season, but just keeping it under wraps a little bit.
Yeah, and obviously a great game against Lorne as well. The week before, just lost that one and then beating South Colac. They're looking really good very early.
Yeah, great start. And Simpson enjoyed a strong 53-point win with Nick Whopper-Harding being the star of the show. He kicked 9 goals for the day, helping the Tigers run away with it in the end.
The Tigers coach, Damien Pemberton, was really trying to emphasise the importance of Harding's role in that attack and how his ability to get double-teamed frees up other players on attack for them. Now Simpson, after 2 rounds, beating Apollo Bay, beating Otway, it's looking like a good start to the season.
And I don't think anyone probably would have expected Simpson to be sitting on top after 2 rounds, but they're playing really good footy at the moment, and Damien Pemberton, he obviously said the club's depth and the youth kind of been on display in the first few rounds. They lost a fair few during the off season, but I think they played in the last 2 reserves grand finals, so they've got that depth there to cover those losses. Illawarra Beac ran away 54-point winners over the Western Eagles. It was a close game up until that last quarter when the Bombers kind of kicked away. And Cam Parker said that last quarter, the 34-point one for the Bombers was a great reward for their efforts for the first 3 quarters.
Yeah, no, definitely. And on the Eagles side of things, they had the 3 under-18 boys, Jack Fish, Tully Borger, and Levi Deinhoven. Play in the morning, as well as double up with the game in the seniors, as well as debutant Logan Marnie. He played in the reserves and then backed it up again in the seniors.
I think the boys felt the heat a little bit. Unfortunately, all 4 of them came off in the third quarter with cramp and were unable to run out the game, which left the Eagles with no bench for the last quarter, which hurt them. And Charlie McGawan impressed on debut for the Bombers. He slotted 2 goals as well, so that's a good outing for him.
Now to the netball, where South Colac won over Birregurra by 2 goals. The Roos' depth was really on show, with youngsters like Sienna Milverton, Millie Sibley and Ruby Fountain all stepping up and playing really important roles on the day, Koo.
Yeah, a little separated the sides for the day, Jamie, with the lead no greater than 2 goals at the first 2 breaks. South Colac extended its lead out to 7 heading into the last quarter, but Birregurra were able to storm home and just couldn't quite get it done.
Yeah. And South skipper Janelle Monahan, she said the Roos' fitness and they had a really strong pre-season. She said that kind of shone through and helped them get that win in the end.
The Simpson netballers were able to get it done over Otway on the weekend with a 7-point victory. Otway coach Claire Robinson said the Tigers were just able to capitalise on their mistakes in the fourth quarter there.
Yeah, and Simpson had a debutante, and Claudia Richardson. She played her first game and got some minutes in the third quarter in centre. And Simpson coach Emily Donovan said she went really well in her first game.
Yeah, fantastic. And for the Demons, Bridie Lucas played 4 A-grade games halfway through last season. But last weekend she got an opportunity coming on in the second quarter at goalkeeper, and she did really well competing against Tigers captain Jessie Harding, who had 23 goals on the day.
And Illawarra Biak just scraped over the line against the Western Eagles in the netball, which I think is a pretty good result for the Eagles. I think they'll take a lot of confidence out of this, a young side, and I think that's really positive signs for them. The Bombers had a debutante, Isabel Perkins. She scored 2 goals on debut, and that was probably the difference in the end, them 2 goals, which clearly saw there.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Bombers coach Narelle Frith has spoken a lot about the blend that her team has between experience and versatility, and she's really liked what she's seen from her side in the first 2 weeks on that front, being interchangeable with multiple players, being able to cover a number of different positions. In round 2 of the baseball, Colac Braves Division 2 side beat the Lara Wildcats 14-3, with the Braves scoring 10 runs at the end of the first innings.
Yeah, Brendan Di Lorenzo had a big day out again. He whacked home a grand slam at the end of the first innings and finished the day with 7 RBIs. Josh Hay also led the team with 3 runs and got on base 4 times.
And De Lorenzo, he also had 5 strikeouts, and Josh Hay had 4 himself. And the Division 4 boys, they had another win to the list with a 18-6 win over Ballerine Bears. Colac Cookers under-12 basketballers showed out at the Vic State Country Champs in Bendigo. The under-12 boys played Portland in the Division 5 semi-final and went down narrowly by 1 point.
Yeah, it's tough loss that, but the under-12 girls played Warragul in the Division 2B quarter-final and put out a great performance and fought really hard until the very end, but losing to a really tough team in Warragul by 34 points on the day.
And in other news, Colac hosted their first ever Carp festival, and it was a massive success, guys, with almost 2,000 anglers dropping in a line for the day. Festivities stretched across the foreshore precinct, with fishers taking up spots on the lake's bank and along Barongara Creek in a bid to reel in the biggest carp.
Anthony Hocking was the winner of the overall competition with a 78cm long fish.
Yeah, the Victorian Fisheries Authority's Belinda Yim said that the festival was about getting more families to enjoy the great outdoors and promote awareness about carp and the damage that they have on Australian waterways. Now for a bit of soccer news with the Rovers. Tonya Medley has been named the women's team captain, and Megan Rodway is the vice captain as well as the assistant coach for the side. Coop.
Yeah, and they have their first grading game locked in now, Jamie, for April 26 against Lara. Club officials are hoping to find themselves in Division 2 for the Geelong League.
And the under-14 girls, they had their first game in a friendly against Warrnambool Rangers, and they scored 3 goals, which is really, really good to see for them. That's all the action from this weekend's sport.
And we look forward to some Easter action this weekend with football and netball games between Alvey and Imps, as well as the Coastal Cup with Lorne and Apollo Bay.
And the Lorne Football Club will host GFL football on Saturday as St Joseph's take on Leopold. Thanks for watching.